The late 2000s and early 2010s were the absolute peak for digital game storefronts. The PS3 and Xbox 360 stores were booming, Steam was popping off for PC users, and the Apple App Store had 99-cent games with no ads. It was a great time to go digital. But to this day, I still feel like the Wii Shop Channel is unrivaled. Nothing before or since has managed to capture the raw vibes it puts out. It felt futuristic back then, and it still feels futuristic now. But unfortunately, the Wii Shop Channel has been discontinued for a long time now. Nintendo said our money's no good to them anymore, so it's officially abandonware territory. I don't think it's realistic to say that if you want to play WiiWare games, you have to have already bought them 7 years ago. That's just ridiculous. And it's not like you can get them secondhand on eBay, they're digital downloads. So naturally, there are alternative avenues to get WiiWare on whatever Wii you have. I was going to use the fan revival Wii Mart, but the server was down, so I decided to use the first link on Google when you search Wii Shop Channel instead. It's a browser-based fan recreation of the Wii Shop Channel that looks and feels amazing. It even links to real WAD files you can install on your Wii. Alright, so I explored the Wii Shop Channel and I downloaded 50 WiiWare games that seemed interesting. I'm gonna play each one and rank them on a tier list of gold, silver, bronze, meh, or cursed. Alright, let's get started. First game is called Fishie. It's a one-button game where you play as a fish that's constantly rotating counterclockwise, and when you press A, your fish swims forward a little bit. You gotta time your swims exactly right to eat all the little fish before your health bar runs out. It's pretty fun, I like it. I'm gonna give it a bronze because it's alright, but there's nothing particularly innovative about it. Next is thruspace. You play as an oblong series of blocks. I don't know how else to phrase it. And you're speeding through a corridor of walls with cubic holes that you gotta fit through. You can move your shape, like rotate it, in 3 dimensions. And you have to rotate to fit into the hole that's in the wall that's coming towards you before you crash into it. The controls are satisfying. I found myself getting into a flow state with it almost immediately. It's definitely up there with the best of them, but I don't think it is the best of them. Like, I can't imagine myself coming back to this over and over. I'm gonna give it a silver. I think that's fair. Next is Stop Stress, A Day of Fury. It's a first-person game where you have to run around your house and smash the alarm clocks that are hiding everywhere. There are bugs that lunge from the floor or fly at you, and bizarre boss fights against household objects like a toaster or a recliner. I love the idea. I think it's awesome to have a destructible environment in a kill all sources of stress kind of game, but the controls are horrible. Trying to aim at enemies feels impossible. I end up missing most of my swings when it really seems like they should have landed. I wouldn't be surprised if the controls being kind of frustrating was intentional, like meta-narrative harmony, but it feels like total butthole to play, and I will not be returning to this. I think it's only fair to give it a bronze, though. I'm sure this is totally somebody's cup of tea. Chick Chick Boom is a fantastic multiplayer party game that combines real-time and turn-based combat into a hectic skirmish of stupid bouncy ball birds. To launch an attack, the player has to select either bomb, weight, or piranha plant. Then you gotta hastily connect the dots with the Wii Remote cursor and then shoot a target. If you hit closer to the center of the target, it upgrades the attack to a higher tier. There are also random events like Corncob Man, you shoot him and he drops health. Pinata, you gotta shoot it before the enemy does and then it gives you an item. When the thunderstorm shows up, you gotta draw the lightning bolt before your enemy does. Each attack can be dodged in a unique way. For bomb, you draw a little shield around it. For weight, you draw a line below it at the right time. For plant, you draw a stick for it to curl around. For lightning bolt, you create a lightning rod in the ground. Chick Chick Boom is a brilliant game. It rewards players for being fast and accurate under a lot of pressure. Absolute gold right here, no doubt about it. Defend Your Castle. It's a remake of the stick figure flash game of the same name with a whole new art style to make it feel a little less crude. It plays kinda like Plants vs. Zombies. You aim at the screen with the Wii Remote to grab a stick figure running towards your castle and either throw them up in the air to watch them splat or just throw them directly on the ground. It's a pretty decent incremental game, but I managed to max out all the stats and run out of upgrades after only 30 minutes. Speaking of upgrades, the defensive spires you have to save up for are so disappointing. The first one is archery, which is supposed to shoot arrows at your enemies, but stacking archery seems to not make much of a difference to how fast or how many arrows get sent out after a certain point. There's a demolition spire, which sends out one friendly explosive guy towards your enemies, but it barely ever hits anything and ends up being useless most of the time. There's a magic spire that allows you to erase an enemy, but it takes way too long to charge, and I often miss and end up erasing a low-tier enemy accidentally. There's also another spire that heals your castle's defenses, but defenses are basically never an issue so long as you're not asleep at the wheel. My castle barely ever got any damage the whole game until I was about to quit and stopped defending just because I wanted to see what would happen. I'll give this one a meh. It's such a bog-standard incremental game. The art style style is mid, and the tedium sets in pretty quick. We interrupt this program to bring you a sponsored segment for Fabletics. Look, I don't blame you if you usually skip these, but please hear me out this time. When I say I wear Fabletics every single day of my life, that's not a canned line. Like, nobody told me to say that. Everyone around me knows me as the Fabletics guy, completely genuinely. It's as simple as, I'm sensitive about the clothes that I wear, and they hit exactly on the mark of being practical and comfortable every time. I don't have to guess what shape my day is gonna take before getting dressed. My loungewear, my outgoing wear, and my exercise wear are all the same garments. I've never had any other brand of clothing tick every box. Let's cut to the chase. In just a minute, I'm gonna give you a QR code, and when you scan it, it's gonna lead you to the men's bestsellers page, all right? Right there at the top, they have the one short, and they are such a game changer, but they sell out quick. So you pick your color, you pick your size, and then you're gonna click this add to bag, this one. See the limited time offer box right there? That's the one. Then it's gonna ask you to sign up. If you sign up as a VIP, you get 2 pairs of those shorts for $10 each. That's 70 to 80% off. And if you don't love those specific shorts, that's fine. Just pick a different garment from that page and you're all good. When you sign up to become a VIP in the way that I just described through my link, I get money. You are directly supporting the channel. Here is my QR code. It is the same as the link that's in the pinned comment and the description. Check out the Fabletics VIP offer. I will be here when you get back. Thank you so much to Fabletics for sponsoring this video, and thank you to you for indulging me. Hello, welcome back. Thank you for checking out the Fabletics VIP offer, and now on with the show. Fluidity is a 2D platformer where you play as water itself. You tilt the Wii remote to tilt the world and roll the water around to solve puzzles and put out fires. There's a massive sprawling world with Super Mario 64-like unlocks that are rewarded from completing missions. It's slow-paced and relaxing, and explaining it any further would be a disservice to anyone looking to give it a try. There's also a sequel on 3DS called Fluidity Spin Cycle. But yeah, I gotta consider Fluidity to be absolute gold. It is the best of the best. Maboshi's Arcade is a collection of 3 games: Circle, Line, and Square. They're kind of hard to describe, so bear with me. Circle has an always spinning ball that rolls around in a circle, and the A button switches which way it's spinning, and you have to carefully time your A presses to spin it around and keep the enemy circles from escaping. My explanation doesn't really do it justice. It's really intuitive and fun. Line has a weighted line spinning around a central circle, and you hold A to unlock the core and allow the line to weigh it in the direction that it's aiming at. Again, hard to explain. This one's really hard. I didn't quite get the hang of it, but then there's Square, where you navigate a square around a grid, and time only moves when you move. By moving adjacent to green squares, they catch on fire, and you have to burn all the tiles before they reach the bottom of the screen while also not crashing into yourself, Snake style. Pretty cool game. I imagine it would be even more fun with 3 people. I'll give Maboshi's Arcade a silver. Next up is Muscle March. Okay, so in Muscle March, you play as a buff dude chasing a bunch of other buff dudes in a line, and you have to pose using the Wii remote and nunchuck to match the pose of the dude in front of the line. It's hectic and fun, and you gotta have a quick reaction time, and the motion controls are very consistent. They work great. It's quirky and weird, and I love everything about it. It has such good music, too. It feels like a quintessential WiiWare game. That's my cursor! Oh my god! You. Easy gold on this one, easy. Next up is Pokemon Rumble. So Pokemon Rumble takes the slow, methodical, turn-based Pokemon combat and makes it into a satisfyingly bite-sized experience. You play as a toy Pokemon fighting hordes of other toy Pokemon, and you rise through the ranks to take on the Battle Royale. It has great multiplayer and a delightful aesthetic. This has got to be one of my favorite video games, and it spawned a whole range of sequels. Pokemon Rumble gets an absolute gold. Next up is Sonic 4, Episode 1. So everybody knows Sonic is such a subjective series. It feels like every Sonic game has completely mixed reviews. But Sonic 4 Episode 1 has such a unique aesthetic to it. It's a dead ringer for that brief period where it was trendy to remake a sprite game with shiny 3D graphics and put it on the iOS App Store. Those tend to age horribly, but I still had a lot of fun with Sonic 4 Episode 1. I don't know what to say. Having a homing attack in 2D is really cool, even if it does make boss fights a little too easy. The way they redesigned the Sonic 1 style tilting bonus game was really cool. They turned it into like like a labyrinth with interesting level design that was fun to navigate through, instead of just being trolled by bumpers constantly. The physics engine definitely is a bit weird, bouncing off of a spring and then having Sonic slow to a stop mid-air because I wasn't holding right was very bizarre. This game really isn't that offensive to me, but it's not a masterpiece either. I'm gonna give it a silver and we'll call it that, okay? I had fun, all right? I admit it. I like Sonic 4. Grill off with Ultra Hand. So this was a game that I got for free on my Wii U like a decade ago through Club Nintendo. It's a simple concept. You act like you're holding a springy hand thing with both the Wii Remote and nunchuck, and you time it right so you grab the kebabs once they're fully cooked. It is very, very one note. I'm gonna give this a meh. It's perfectly fine for a game you got for free, but it's not gonna hold your attention for long. It didn't for me. I doubt it would for you. I've been waiting for this day. The day has finally come where I get to talk about Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people, baby. Okay, so I am the biggest Homestar Runner fan in the entire world. I have the Homestar Runner autism. I am absolutely biased to being obsessed with this game. I've played all 5 episodes a million times. I never get sick of them. So SBCG4AP, as the cool kids call it, is a series of point-and-click adventure games based on the Homestar Runner world. It's so hard to sum up in any other way but that. It's an interactive Homestar Runner cartoon that became a definitive part of the WiiWare experience. Gold, nothing but gold, absolute gold. Tomena Sanada is a hyperspeed, one-button 2D platformer where your little businessman runs and you press A on upcoming obstacles at the exact right time to get bonus points and move faster. It's very surreal and everything is rotoscoped. It's funny and it's weird and I like it, but I kind of got the vibe that I'd already picked up everything it was putting down after like 5 minutes. It's a good game though. I'm gonna call it a bronze. Jet Rocket is absolutely amazing. It's a 3D platformer very adjacent to Super Mario Galaxy, and it's unbelievable that they could fit all this into the WiiWare 30 megabytes upper limit. You have a cool stomp move you can use to press buttons, and a jetpack you have to use strategically because you can only charge it in certain places. Lots of secrets to find and puzzles to solve. There's also a really fun jet ski segment. I am shocked. I've never heard of this game before, and I'm going to consider it absolute gold. It could not have possibly exceeded my expectations more. Too Fast for Gnomes is a 2D platformer where you play as a gnome that can't stop running, and you can only jump. You collect as many socks as you can without falling into a pit or crashing into a wall. It's fine, but it's so generic that I'm going to give it a meh. bit.trip Core is a kinda rhythm game where you play as a plus in the middle of the screen and blast lasers in a cardinal direction to overlap an oncoming yellow block. If you miss a yellow block, you lose health. It gets complex pretty quick, and they add lots of visual noise in the background and move the yellow blocks all around to make it kind of hard to keep up with. The only reason I call it a kinda rhythm game is because it doesn't line up to the music very well. You have to fire the laser like a quarter second early to get the yellow block within the window of the laser before it disappears. If you try to play this game like a rhythm game, you're just gonna lose and lose and lose because you're not pressing it to the beat, you're pressing it slightly before the beat. And the sight reading is an entirely artificial challenge. It feels like a bandage fix to make a fundamentally broken game seem more complex and complete. I'm not really a big fan of bit.trip. It feels like a series of rhythm games made for people that don't like any of the things that make rhythm games fun. But I feel like it's important to include because these games were crazy popular back in the Wii era. I'm gonna give this a cursed. If someone comes along and fixes the game to make the inputs feel like they're actually timed right, then we'll talk. But for now, this game's so cursed. Block Breaker Deluxe. So you guys know I love a good breakout clone. They made it so that your cursor is locked to the vertical axis, like above your paddle, and you can hover your cursor over items to pick them up early instead of waiting for them to descend to the paddle, which is kind of cool. They added a weird kind of like dating sim element on top of this, where you get gifts that drop from blocks and then you can give them to girls. Very strange, but not bad in the least. It feels mobile gamey without any of the microtransactions, which makes sense because this was made by Gameloft. I'll give it a silver. This game is totally fine. Jellycar 2. Oh baby, I love me some Jellycar 2. So this is a 2D platformer game where you play as a car. Get this. That's made of jelly, and you can grow and shrink on demand. There are items that allow you to float on a balloon or make your wheels sticky so you can drive up a wall. Sometimes the levels are about traversal, sometimes they're physics puzzles. It always has something new up its sleeve. It's crazy to think I've been playing this game since like 2009 when it released on iPod Touch, and the Wii port is just as good as far as I can tell. Gold. More like Gold Car 2, because this game is gold. bit.trip Beat. So this one's similar to bit.trip Core. Of course, it's in the same series, but you hold the Wii remote sideways and you turn it forwards and backwards to move the pong paddle on the left to bat the yellow blocks back. I'd say it's a little bit better than core because you don't have to do button input timing, but they paired quick reaction time with motion controls instead, which is also pretty terrible. This one just barely graduates from cursed to meh. Urbanix is a clone of Jezball, but in 3D, and the challenge comes from not being able to see the entire board at once. It's generic, it's functional, but it's also completely inoffensive. It's fine, okay? It's fine. I'll give it a bronze. Burgertime World Tour is a very low-budget remake of Burgertime, the arcade game. The gameplay music is such a banger. It's so familiar to me, and I cannot place where I've heard it before. I feel like I heard it in like a YTPMV or like a flash loop from like 2010. I uploaded the song to my personal channel if you want to try and track it down. But yeah, Burgertime World Tour. Oh my god, it's so painfully generic. I'm just gonna slam this directly into meh territory. You, Me, and the Cubes is a surreal puzzle game where you try to balance little people on a cluster of cubes, and when you succeed, it adds more cubes, and you gotta try to balance them. You have to have at least one person per cube. I like the simple gameplay, and the soundtrack is absolutely amazing. It is so nice. I'll give this one a silver. And Yet It Moves feels like a Flash game or like a homebrew game. It's a 2D platformer where you can freeze time and rotate the world, but gravity always pulls you down, and you gotta be careful not to fall too far or you die and reset back to the last checkpoint. It's pretty cool, but the gameplay I feel is only just okay. I couldn't really get a grasp on how far I was allowed to fall before it would kill me, and sometimes I felt like the game would just kill me for no reason. I'm gonna give this one a bronze. Max and the Magic Marker is pretty cool. It's a 2D platformer where you point the Wii remote at the screen to draw shapes, and the shapes have physics. So you can draw like a big scribble up in the sky and then have it fall and squish an enemy, or you can draw like a line and that'll be a platform that the player can jump on. It's not the most original idea ever, but it feels like a perfect fit for WiiWare. I'll give this a silver. Tori is a simple 2D platform game where you don't move the character directly. You click the Wii remote where you want the character to go and then they automatically walk there, but they can't cross gaps without you placing a bridge first, and then you get all the eggs to win. It's fine, but I feel like this would be better on a PC because it would benefit from the precision of having an actual mouse. Tori, I'll give this a meh. In my opinion, it's just nothing special. It's fine. My Pokemon Ranch is a simulator type game where your Miis can play with toy Pokemon, the ones from Pokemon Rumble. You can transfer over Pokemon from Diamond and Pearl on DS and get a whole bunch at once, but if you don't have a DS with that copy of the game, it just spawns in a new Pokemon every real life day. It's kind of cute to watch your Miis goof around with Pokemon, but it definitely seems more like a toy than a game. I'll give this one a bronze. It's pretty cool. Space Invaders Get Even is a tongue-in-cheek comedic game where you play as the invaders from Space Invaders and you head to Earth to blow stuff up. It's pretty spectacular and awesome getting to play as these goofy pixel aliens attacking the Eiffel Tower. I'm a big fan of Taito from this era. It felt like they were doing a lot of weirdo avant-garde games at around this time, and I like it. I'll give Space Invaders Get Even a silver. My Aquarium 2 is exactly what it sounds like. You maintain a fish tank, you can look at the fish, and you can learn trivia about them, and that is the whole thing. I'm gonna give this one a meh. Like, it's exactly what it says on the tin. It's just really boring. Ant Nation is really cool. It kind of feels like Pikmin, but instead of Pikmin, they're just ants. You lead them to food, they take it back to their hole, you can lead them into battle. Oh, it's so fun. I will definitely take the time to dig into this more. I'll give this a silver. This is exactly my niche. Bonsai Barber is a game where you carefully direct scissors around the silhouette of a hedge that the bonsais want, and then you snip, 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 snip until you get it exactly right. It is very snipper clips in the best possible way. I'm shocked I've never heard of this game before. It is so much fun, and it's a perfect example of what WiiWare is capable of. Absolute gold right here. This game is a blast. Cozy Fire. You're never gonna guess what this is. You can place several different kinds of wood into a fireplace and watch it burn. That is the whole thing. You can poke the wood with a poker to move it a little bit. That's it. That's it. I'm giving this a cursed. You had to pay money for this back in the day. Aquaspace is like a greatly expanded version of My Aquarium 2, which we looked at earlier. You can swim around in the water with a Mii and do trivia, and your Mii can feed the fish. It's really cool. I feel like the graphics are much nicer too. I'll give this one a bronze. If you want a fish game on WiiWare, you can't beat this one. My Little Baby is a very uncanny feeling game where you do various chores to take care of a baby, like preparing a bottle and feeding the baby. It has such a strange vibe to it. Like, I love virtual pets. I definitely have maternal energy nostalgia in me, but I'm not really sure who this game is supposed to be for. I'm putting this in cursed. I don't think anyone should have to play this. And next up, we've got a WiiWare port of the iconic Flash game Bloons, but the controls are so terrible, I have no idea how they messed it up so bad. It would have been such a gimme for it to aim with the Wii Remote cursor, but instead it uses the D-pad and you have to rigidly and robotically move the arrow around on the left. Everything about it feels wrong. It feels like a homebrew tech demo, not a finished product that was put up for sale. Absolutely cursed. Do not play this version of the game. Art of Balance is a physics puzzle game. You drag shapes with the Wii Remote to try and balance them, and if it balances, you win. If it topples, you lose. It has such a lovely aesthetic, the controls are perfect, and the puzzles are beautifully designed. I consider this to be the gold standard WiiWare game. Nothing but gold, baby. Dr. Mario Online RX is a remake of Dr. Mario, but with online play, which of course is discontinued now. I'm sure if you really wanted to, you could set up Wiimfi and play this game online again, but as for the game itself, it's fine. It's just Dr. Mario. I'm gonna give it a silver. Vampire Crystals is a twin-stick shooter game where you play as a vampire and you have to kill zombies and pick up crystals to win. They even allow you to use the classic controller so you can get the true twin-stick experience. It reminds me a lot of Vampire Survivors, so if you like that sort of game, this will definitely be your thing. I've never heard of this, and I'm really glad I know about it now because it is so fun. I bet the multiplayer is even better too. Absolute gold right here. That is gold right there. Happy Holidays Halloween is the strangest WiiWare I have ever seen. You create a 3D character and pick out a costume for them, and then you select a background and put down stickers, and then you send a screenshot of the scene that you made as a Wii message board letter for your friends. It's not a game. It's a card-making software, but only for the Wii message board. What? That's insane. Of course this is cursed. You had to pay money for this! Toribash is a turn-based fighting game where you move each joint of your character individually to make the people fight. It's so overly complex and confusing that I did the whole 30-minute tutorial and I still didn't get it. It feels like if you were to make a fighting game out of QWOP. Unbelievably cursed. I can't imagine anyone having fun with this. 101 Games Explosive Megamix. I used to play the iPod Touch version of this game back in the day. It's a minigame collection with lots of overly simple games. You beat the high score and then you unlock new games. It's definitely cheap crap, but that's kind of the point. It's quantity over quality, very clearly. But I actually kind of liked the challenge of trying to unlock new games. It's plenty arcadey. I didn't hate it. I'll give it a bronze. In Play with Birds, you traverse around a big world and complete missions to try and riz up a girl bird to make babies. There's no sound effects aside from a 20-second music loop that drives you insane after a few minutes. Like, there's no sound effects at all. If you turn the music off, there's just nothing. The controls are really annoying. Walking has tilt controls, and so does flying. The world is so needlessly large with everything spread so far between that trying to accomplish anything takes forever. You can poop on people, which is the #1 thing I'd look forward to in a bird simulator. You press the 1 button, but instead of calling it poo, they call it ooh with 3 O's. This game goes right into the cursed bin. There was nothing that I liked about Play with Birds. This game is terrible. Tetris Party is a fabulous Tetris game on WiiWare. Not only does it have the original Tetris that you know and love, it has a bunch of weird and ambitious alternative game modes. In Field Climber, you have to help a little stick man use your Tetris blocks like they're stairs to get all the way to the top. Shadow, where you fill in a pre-designated set of squares to make a picture. And Stage Racer, where you race down a vertical puzzle and you have to move and rotate your piece through it to get to the bottom. Everything about Tetris Party is perfect. They even made a deluxe version that was on a disc, which had even more content. This game was a go-to party game for me for years, well into the Wii U era. Tetris Party is golden. Let's Catch is a game where you throw a ball back and forth with a kid, and he tells you about how his parents fight all the time. I was rubbing my hands together thinking this was going to be a cursed masterpiece, but once the dialogue started repeating, the tedium set in and I started to doze off. Let's Catch is very, very boring. I'll give it a meh. World of Goo was the first video game I ever completed. It's a puzzle game where you drag goo balls to make triangular structures and get to the goal. I love this game dearly. I shouldn't have to sing its praises. It's one of the best indie games ever made, and it defined WiiWare as a whole. World of Goo, more like World of Gold, baby. Bejeweled 2, it's a classic casual PC game, and this WiiWare port is fantastic. It even has the original tracker music. It plays perfectly with the Wii Remote. I have nothing to complain about. All I see is gold. Eco Shooter Plant 530 is a recycling-themed on-rails shooter. You turn litter into energy that you suck up into your gun to shoot down litter that has come to life and can attack you. Like, the final boss is a bunch of floating empty soda cans, and you gotta shoot them off one by one and collect the energy from each can to blast it look back at the boss. It's pretty good, but the controls had my arms tired after like 20 minutes. I'll give it a silver. It's pretty good. Magnetica Twist is a clone of Zuma, but with Miis. That's it. That's the whole thing. There's nothing else to it. It's just Zuma. It's fine. I got bored of it almost immediately. I'm giving this a big fat meh. Snowpack Park is a game where you take care of penguins to increase their mood. You drill holes in the ice to fish for them, and you can toss the fish into their mouth and they make cute little noises. You can pet the penguins. You can pet the penguins. I got pretty stuck. I couldn't figure out how to progress the game after like 30 minutes, but I really enjoyed what I played. I think I'll file this under silver. Rock and roll climbing. I know I already used the quap analogy for toribash, but this one feels even more fitting. It's a climbing game where you control each limb individually, and it uses motion controls to wave your limbs around. I went through the whole tutorial, and it still felt inconsistent and annoying. It's one of the most unsatisfying games I've had the displeasure to play. It's like quap plus climbing. It belongs in cursed. It is so cursed. Who would not find this annoying to play? Water Warfare is a first-person shooter, but with water guns. You run around and try to spray the other people. The map design is awesome. The guns all have their own characteristics, so it's fun to try them all out. There's a bunch of unique items you can pick up too, so you're not only dealing with guns, you got other stuff like a bucket of water you can throw on people. Having to stop to fill up your water gun is pretty annoying, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. I like this game a lot. It feels kind of like Splatoon. It's fun. I'm surprised I never heard of it before. I'm gonna rank this up with the best of them. It's a gold, baby. Well, that's all 50 games that I tried out from the Wii Shop Channel. Let me know if there are any iconic ones that I may have missed, or if you felt disappointed by how I ranked any one of them. You are allowed to not respect my opinion. I have weirdo taste. It's fine. I'm used to it. Thank you for watching. Thank you to everyone on patreon.com/clue. It's time to look at the stuff people sent to the P.O. box, which is in the channel description. Thank you to a big fan for this lovely letter. Thank you to Elodie for this lovely letter and the Sanrio stickers. Thank you to someone for this postcard. This is because I made a joke about how no one should ever call me a silly old frog. I'm supposed to be cross with you, but I'm just grateful that you thought of me. And thank you to John for the lovely letter and for the PC keyboard peripheral CD-ROM game. You're insane. Thank you so much for sending this to me. I love weirdo USB gadgets. This is certainly one of them. Thank you. All right, that's all I've got for you. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Nobody ever does that. Thank you. I'll see you again really soon. Bye!